Hello and welcome to EV Review Ireland. My name is Derek Reilly. Today we're going to be reviewing the Audi e-tron, specifically the 55 Quattro version. So let's get started. So let's have a look around the outside of the actual car. You'll see on the front there are only a couple of distinguishing features to say that it is an electric vehicle. First of all, you've got your e-tron badge underneath the bottom of the grille there. And there's the e-tron on the back as well. But otherwise, with the side charging flaps, it doesn't really stand out that it is an electric vehicle. Kind of sits between the Q5 and the Q7, a bit lower than the two of them, a bit more sporty looking, and there is actually a sports hatch version of this vehicle as well. But on the front, it is your typical Audi grille. You will see that from afar. You've got your sensors on the front as well, the parking sensors. It has a kind of a feature where it looks like it is Venetian blinds, top and bottom, and then the bit in the middle is like somebody looking out. But I like the front of it. You've got your rear diffuser at the bottom, and you've got your sweeping headlights with some speed stripes as well, fog lights, and you've got your headlight window washers at the front as well. Overall, it is a nice looking front. I think it looks great on the road. Let's have a look around the side and the back as well. As mentioned when we were on the front of the car, I was saying it is low, and you can actually really see how low it is versus the Q5 or the Q7. This version is coming with the 20-inch wheels. They're not too aerodynamic, but there is a large flat surface area to help with the wind resistance. It has a swooping roofline on the front of it as well, on the side of it. You have some of these grille effect stripes on the side of the vehicle as well. Very large wing mirrors. This version doesn't come with the cameras with the screens on the insides, and these are retractable. And then on this side you have the AC charging, a nice little feature there, and on the other side then you have the CCS combo charger. So either side you're going to be near to a charger. With the Audi e-tron you have a power tail lift as well, so you can press the button on the actual trunk lid itself or boot lid, or you can double tap the key fob, and then there's a button then to close it there as well. With the actual boot itself you've got a privacy cover, and then huge spaces all the way through, and another space underneath where you can throw some cables. This one has the granny cable in the or the AC 3-pin plug cabled in the bottom, and also a space-saving space-saving wheel. You can also drop the seats automatically, and near flat. You've got this scuff plate on the back of it as well to help with any luggage in and out, and that'll protect the. But overall, yeah, really good luggage capacity, and it's a nice size for lifting stuff in and stuff out of, and that deep well as well. So it is a good size boot, because you don't get that third row seats or the 7-seater option. As you can imagine, in a car this size, there is going to be plenty of space and you won't be let down. With the driver's seat, because it has the 2 memory presets, it kind of sets itself back once you get out, so it makes space. It moves back. And look how much space there is here. Head space, leg space. In the back you have 12 volt. You have a couple of USBs, you have storage behind the seats, you have kind of a little mini shelf here for mobile devices, 2 ISOFIX seating positions. You also get an armrest in the centre with a flat area for holding mobile devices as well, kind of shallow, but it's a very decent and substantial armrest. 3 3-point seats, as I mentioned, 2 ISOFIX, and some reading lights in the back here as well. Door bins are nice and wide, so they will fit bottles, etc. All of the doors are not mechanically operated, they're electronically operated. Lots of space here in the front, good headroom. Some people were talking about the size of the steering wheel, but I think it's a good size for the size of vehicle that we have. The seats are fully adjustable electronically by driver and passenger, and you've got 2 memory presets. Yeah, it is. Let's take it out on the road, and we can talk about some of the features inside it and give you a full review. What's it like driving the Audi Quattro 55 e-tron Quattro 55? It is beautiful. It has a 95 kilowatt hour battery. It has over 400 brake horsepower. And this is the 55 variant. So what is the difference between the 55 and the 50? So the 55 dictates the size brake horsepower. So when you see different Audis going around with the different numerical coding on the back of it, it'll dictate the brake horsepower. So the 55 has this 95 kilowatt hour battery pack and also produces over just about 408 horsepower, and there is a sports mode on that increases that for 8 seconds. The 50, which is the smaller one, has a smaller battery pack, 70 odd, and obviously then a slightly lower brake horsepower. No, actually it has the same brake horsepower, I believe. There's so much going on in here in a good way. I really like it. So some people were complaining about the size of the steering wheel. They said it is as big as a bus. I don't agree with that. I think it's a perfect size steering wheel for driving a car of this size. You have the virtual cockpit dash screen display in front of the driver, so the cluster, binnacle, whatever you want to call it, and then you have 2 other large screens in the center console. So let's go around the interior as we're driving around. There aren't a lot of knobs and buttons on this. It is a lot of touch screen. So on the right hand side you have 3 little touchscreen buttons, one for automatic lights, then for front and rear fog lights. There is a large, on the bottom right hand corner, just above your knee, you have a secure little pocket storage area that closes. Then on the steering wheel, it's fairly standard Audi affair. You have voice control and all your audio settings on the right hand side of the actual steering wheel itself. On the left hand side, then you have the ability to change the menu options on the actual display. So you can see there's 4 main options on the center of the actual driver virtual cockpit. So you have one in relation to the actual range left, and you can change that, different visualizations of that. So for example, I can see in the last 646 kilometers, this car, that's what they're classing as the long-term memory, does a kilowatt hour per 100 kilometers of 25.7. Short term, that's roughly the same, 26.2. It's a heavy car, and it shows with regards to the efficiency of the electric drivetrain. Then the next option over is radio, audio. One over that then is telephone, and the last one then is navigation. You can also change the view, whether you want your battery drive mode on the left hand side, you want it large or small. And on the right hand side then it's speedometer. When you have it in navigation mode, it takes up the full virtual cockpit, but that's only navigating with the built-in navigation in the Audi system. If you use your Android Auto or you use your Apple CarPlay, it won't put the map on that actual display. It will just show a compass in the way that you're facing. Beautiful display, love it, absolutely couldn't fault it. Behind the steering wheel you've got, again, standard Audi fare. On the left hand side you've got your lighting, so your indicator and your dips and full lights. Right hand side you've got your wipers. You've got some paddles on the e-tron, and they are to do with the regenerative braking. I haven't actually been able to figure it out in the week that I've had it. I can't see any difference by flapping it on. Maybe it's the different drive mode, I don't know, but I haven't figured out how to increase or decrease the regenerative braking. And then there's a final stalk on the bottom right left-hand side, and that is for your cruise control. So that's pretty much in front of me, and the driver display with regard, and also the lighting. Center console, you have your home screen. So with the center console and the screen underneath it, it is kind of like a haptic feedback. So, and you'll also hear a little click. So it's audio and kinetic with regards to how you know whether you've pressed the right button or not. Buttons are a decent size. They're probably about 2 inch by 2 inch square, maybe a bit smaller. So they're not finicky or small. You will be able to see what you've pressed and when you're pressing it. So you've got radio, media, telephone, navigation, phone apps. As I said, it supports Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Car settings, purchases, which is an interesting one, settings, which is understandable. Then you also have help, user manual, or sorry, users, so you can set up a number of different users. There's 2 presets on the driving positions as well. So if you've got multiple drivers in your household that are potentially thinking about this e-tron, it's nice to have that. Messages, weather, news, and legal. I'm not sure who actually reads the news in their car on the way into work. Maybe I'm just wrong. I'm not their target audience, but it has AFP news feed coming through, so it was all up-to-date stuff that was on it. That's on the home screen. On the next one then is the radio, as you can hear. Then you've got audio with regards to USB, if you want your USB. A source on that. Again, I'm not sure who's sticking in USBs, and I'll get back to some of the connectivity sections down here. You've got phone and you've got navigation, so all of that goes on the main screen. Underneath that then you've got your climate control, and you have dual zone climate control, and you've got some other buttons top and bottom of that climate control, so you can turn off that screen, you can change what setting or what pictures or what if you wanted to make the climate control smaller. You also have hill descent, touchscreen button down there, heated seats. You have below that then you've got your hazard lights, you've got your selection for your drive mode, you can turn off your traction control, and you've got your rear and front demisting windscreen. You have a turny knob for your volume on the center console, but you also have that option on a little thumb wheel on the screen, sorry, on the steering wheel. And then you have cameras, parking cameras, the sensitivity with regards to your parking sensors, and you can change that in the settings. Start stop button. You have a really nice way of changing drive modes. It's like a hand rest, wrist rest is the word. And to the right hand side then you have the option to reverse, neutral, drive and sport, and then you got your electric handbrake there as well. I like it. It's gloss black, so it's going to be a fingerprint magnet, don't get me wrong, but it is a nice, not too driver focused as well. It's angled towards the driver, but it is a nice setup. Then you've got a really nice phone holder which holds it vertically into the side, so once it's plugged in, you really don't feel the need to, it's not sitting in front of you, it's not distracting you. And if you've got any of the integrated auto apps on your phone, it'll pop up on the screen. You also have some USBs, 1 and 2 at the front, number 3 and 4 in the back. They are numbered. And then you also have a SIM card holder and a SD slot. 12 volt is in there as well if you want 12 volt power. You've got 2 cup holders, and you also have a storage bin on the right hand side, sorry, underneath the armrest. Glove box decent side as well. So as much as this Audi e-tron fits in between the sizes of a Q5 and a Q7, I really like the shape of it. It seems a bit sportier, and there is even the sportback version, which this is not. But I really like the styling of this. It's got full LED headlights, and it has that central light bar along the back. Really distinctive. I've had this for a week from Audi Ireland, and it is... yesterday we were out doing some filming, and I spotted 2 of them. But I think it's a kind of when you buy a red car or you're thinking about buying a certain type of car, you'll see them everywhere. So I saw another black one of these, and I saw a lovely silver one as well. There is a launch control option on this car as well. I'm not sure where you're going to use it. Like, you stick this into sports mode, and if you're at the traffic lights, because of speed limits, I'm not, like, maybe it's for the autobahns, drag racing, fast and furious, like, do you think the target audience of an Audi e-tron is going to be doing that kind of stuff? It is very much something that you will show your friends, those that haven't had the electric vehicle experience of that instant torque. It will also, it'll impress them the first time, but whether you use it on a day-to-day basis, you'd want to be doing some serious driving out and about. They're not even doing some serious driving. I don't know, like, as I said, like who? Like launch control. It's like Top Gear, drag racing. A lot of safety features on this Audi e-tron. As you take off, it gives you a little hug with the seatbelts once you go over a certain kilometre per hour. And it also has lane assist, not pre-crash, but it's kind of, if it sees the car in front of you has got a bit slower than you thought it was, it pops up and it slows you down. So yeah, there's a number of safety features on that. There's 2 ISOFIX child seats in the back, child seat fittings in the back. It also has the SOS call button in the ceiling console as well. The rear view mirror is a frameless. This version that I'm driving at the moment does not have the optional cameras in the wing mirrors, for the wing mirrors, where the screens would actually fit in the right hand side. It has center locking on the driver's door, and it has it on the passenger door, which I really like. All electric mirrors, obviously front and back. And then it has a button at the driver's footwell, just down at the your right hand foot, for opening the frunk or the fruit. And in there, it has a couple of litres that you probably would only store the cables. It's not deep enough really to put shopping bags, but you'd get a small bit into it. The boot is massive, I think it's something like 660 litres. It is huge. When you compare it, so it's competition. The Audi e-tron's competition is going to be the Jaguar I-Pace, 2019 World Car of the Year, the Mercedes EQC, and also the Model X Tesla. So you're up against some established players, but you're also up against other well-known brands. What the Audi gains in boot space, it loses in the capacity of, or the capability of, having 7 seats. So it is only a 5-seater, but it is a proper 5-seater. You will fit 5 adults in it, just with the size of the vehicle. You have the hatch, ski hatch through the rear as well, through the rear seating composition. Price of the Audi e-tron is, this version starts at 99,810 euros, excluding the government and the Sustainable Energy Authority of Ireland grants. And the quattro is, the 50 e-tron, quattro 50 e-tron is a bit less than that, a lot less than that actually, and I'm hoping to test drive that once we get it on the Irish shores. Build quality, it's an Audi, and that should say enough, but the fixtures and fittings of the majority of stuff you're feeling, it's good quality. Sometimes there are some plastics that are a bit scratchy and a bit, they feel cheap, but a lot of motoring journalists give them a bit of stick about that. But I'm assuming there's a balance to be gained with regards to weight efficiency for a battery electric vehicle versus the quality of materials that they put into it. So if something feels a bit scratchy or feels a bit hollowy, I assume it is to the betterment of range. There are a couple of options that you can get as well with regards to, you can get a 360 parking camera system. This version doesn't have it. The screen where the climate control is has a, with the satellite navigation, you can use it to write in with your fingers, handwrite in the destination, and it will pick it up with regards to character recognition and all that kind of good stuff. It can take up to 150 kilowatts. there aren't any of those chargers in Ireland at the moment. The ESB are starting to fit some 150 kilowatt chargers, but they've limited them at the moment to 50 kilowatts. But once you do, it's the likes of the Audi e-tron and the Porsche Taycan that will be able to take that size and that the ability to take that heavy of a load.
Onboard AC charger as standard is 11 kilowatt. That can be upgraded to 22 kilowatt. So charging from home on a 7 kilowatt wall box, you'll be charged in just over 9 hours. And if you can find a DC fast charger that will give you 150 kilowatts, you can do 0 to 80 in 26 minutes.
Range wise, it's quoting over 400 kilometers worth of range, and I was getting around about 390, which isn't bad for a quoted range versus what you're getting with it. And that was a combination of urban and motorway. Went down to the Midlands, went down to Mullingar on the M4, so it was getting a good bit of motorway mileage. Very happy with the range that's quoted versus it gets it. And Audi do a thing where they hold a bit of battery back, so you're not getting the full 95, you're not getting the use of the full 95 kilowatt hour battery. It is keeping a bit of it back. Now, I believe with new software updates, it is starting to release more of that battery, increasing the range, but happy with it. You're talking the guts of 400 kilometer range. For this size battery, you'd expect it. A lot of people are criticizing it that it doesn't have that as big or a larger range than some of its competitors, but like, I have no complaints with that battery size.
eTron comes in 10 colours, and my favourite colour is actually the Antigua blue. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's review, and if you can leave a like and subscribe and leave a comment, and remember, if you think an EV is for you, leave it to me and I'll review. Thanks so much for watching.